It's week 29 in the garden, and this week we're going to be planting our full crop of beans. Not green beans, but bush beans, specifically kidney beans. Still got a lot of watermelon to plant and some cantaloupe. This was cabbage here, never came up, so I've planted some more seed. But this bed, this is where my garlic was, and that's where I'm going to be planting the kidney beans. I'll be planting 4 rows all the way down, however long that is, probably about 8 feet or so, and whatever that works out to in plants. I've got a bowl of kidney beans that I've had soaking overnight, so they've swelled up, absorbed the water, so it should help them sprout easier. Yesterday, I planted Great Northern beans. Those are white beans, and I use them in like a baked bean dish. So I've got them planted here. This is the bed that had the peas in it, and I've covered it to keep the birds out. And I'll be doing the same thing on the other side. It was funny when I was planting these, a couple of the beans already looked like they had some kind of root already coming out just from sitting in the water. I don't know if that was it or if that's something else on the bean, but it looked like a root was already coming out, and they were only in there for about 4 or 5 hours before I planted them because they really swelled up. The kidney beans, I don't see anything like that. And it was just a package of Goya beans that I picked up at the supermarket. That's what I did last year, and I got an okay harvest for the small amount that I planted. I got a couple of servings of chili out of them. I'm not going to get a great big harvest from the amount that I'm planting. I'm going to be planting about 2 or 3 seeds in each hole, just as I did last year, and just allowing the strongest plant to survive. It'll be about it's like 9 per square foot. What does that work out to? Like 1 every 3-4 inches, something like that. And then we'll plant them, cover the seeds with a little bit of soil, and then drape some insect netting over the top to keep the birds out. The watermelon is going to go, or 2 watermelon will go in the whiskey barrel, and still not quite sure where I'm going to put the cantaloupe. This is my pumpkin, and it's really taken off. Starting to get a lot of male flowers coming. No female flowers just yet. May as well just point out our cucumbers that I planted over here. They're doing pretty well, and as I said, I'm going to let them attach to this pea trellis that I put here for the pumpkins, which are really starting to take over. So those pumpkins better start throwing out some vines real soon. And just one more housekeeping note before I start planting the seeds. I think I had a groundhog chewing on the sweet potato leaves. There's like a whole section right here at the edge of the planter box, and over here and here, so it's all around the edge. So I'm thinking the groundhog was standing up and reaching in to snack on some leaves. Most of the plants are okay, and I'm gonna say I don't quite recall. I'm gonna have to go back and look at the video from last year, but I'm thinking these plants look a lot healthier than they did last year, and that could be because it doesn't have the tree right there that was there, so there's a lot more sun getting in here. Also last year, this half of the bed was sweet potatoes, this half was kidney beans, and the kidney beans ended up overshadowing at least the plants that were growing along this edge. But I think the combination of just devoting the whole bed to sweet potatoes and cutting that tree down is making these plants a lot healthier. So I'm hopeful that I'm going to get sweet potatoes this year. Oh, what the heck, let me show you anyway. In here, I've got Brussels sprouts growing. Looks like only 4 popped up. The seeds were a little old, so I guess I should be happy with, oh, it looks like 5 came up. So I guess I should be happy with the 5 plants. This is the 5th one back here, really tiny, but these sprouted up pretty quick. So I'll let them grow up a little bit and then transplant them. These are the cucumbers that I planted in the buckets. And they were actually doing a heck of a lot better than the ones at the in the garden bed over there. The watermelon that I have in this barrel is doing well, and I see it's starting to produce flowers too. So that's good. But I got the vine trailing out, and I'm gonna have to take that, and I'm gonna want it to go this way along the potatoes and beets. And then this is the other barrel where I'm gonna be planting the other watermelon. I wasn't sure originally what I was gonna be planting in here, but since I have so many watermelon plants, I'm gonna put a couple in here, and then I'll have them going down this side along the potatoes. And I'll be harvesting my beets within the next day or so. I think they've had a long enough run. They've grown big enough. And we've got a couple of decent beets in here. So we'll be taking out this barrel, and maybe I'll put the cantaloupe that I've got in this one here and let them grow. And my self-seeding ground cherry is back and producing ground cherries again. I don't plant this anymore. It just keeps coming back year after year. And this is just my snack plant. I'm not crazy about ground cherries, but when I see them ready for picking, I'll take one off and eat it. They're not the best. They're not terrible either. So let's get to planting the beans. So I decided to eyeball it instead of getting the template out. And I ended up going around that garlic plant. That's there. So there'll be about 80 something plants in here. That should be sufficient for a decent harvest. Now I'll just take the beans and throw them in the holes. So the beans are all in, and I was surprised at my accuracy in counting. I only had about a dozen beans left over when I was doing 2 beans per hole. So a couple of them have 3. So now what I'm going to do is just take my rake and lightly go over the beans and cover them up. I'll do that for the whole bed and then come back and water it. Literally took me less than 30 seconds to do that. But what I wanted to show is that this soil here, this is like all worm castings and stuff like that. There had been leaves, chopped leaves put on the garlic bulbs last year, and the worms just thrived in that soil. And so a lot of this really is just like a worm casting cover on the top. It's why I really don't bother about putting worm castings, extra worm castings into my soil. As I mentioned in my video, for one, according to agricultural sources, you need a lot of worm castings and not just a little handful that you see most people putting down. But it's always been my belief that you take care of the soil and the soil takes care of your plants. And that includes making it habitable for worms to live and thrive in there. And then they'll just give you worm castings on its own. And so now I'll just water them in with a good deep drink of water. I'll come back with some clamps to make it look a little nicer and to hold it over, but for right now, this will stop the birds and squirrels from coming in and digging up the seeds or the beans. And I went around the garlic plant, and hopefully these pods will open up soon with their seeds, and I can collect them and then pull up the plant. So I've got the beans planted for the fall. I'll be planting a few more things in the coming weeks, like peas and a few other things, like some follow-up lettuce, and be planting that every couple of weeks. Some radishes. But if you want to see what we were doing in the garden last week, check out this video right here, and then subscribe and hit that notification bell. And that way you'll be able to follow along in the progress on all of our vegetables as we try to grow a supermarket in our own backyard. Thanks for watching. Let's grow something awesome.